Hi, everybody. Welcome to Actionverse Entertainment. Welcome to DanCast. I'm your host, Dan Thompson, and I'm joined with my good friend, Sam Widersheen, who came on a few months ago. Sifu Sam, how are you?
I'm good, Dan. Thank you. Thanks for having me back, man. I just want to take this second to say, thank you. Thanks for having me back. I had a blast the first time. I know we're going to have a great time this second time. And I would also like to point out most viewed episode of DanCast on YouTube. So I just want to just do that real fast. No, it's all
Sam
you.
brings a big audience with him. So,
Yeah, that's what
so tonight we're going to talk about two guys that set out to change the world. So they smoked pot and ate pizza and created Ninja Turtles. And what better person to have on than Sam? Because Sam, when he was on last time, said that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was the driving force for him wanting to get into martial arts.
Yeah, that's true.
You want to talk a little bit about that real quick? Kind of like
Sure.
a recap?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, what Dan said about those guys smoking some weed, eating some pizza is absolutely true. For those of you who may not be in the know, the original Ninja Turtles came out and their publishing company was those two guys, independent publishing company. It was called Mirage Studios because the studio was their living room. Their table was their workspace, their coffee table. So they called this Mirage Studios because it was a mirage. We don't have a studio. It's just us. And they printed 5,000 copies of the original copy in issue number one, thinking, yeah, it'd be great if we sold a few of these, or whatever. And in fact, spoiler alert, but it's from 1984, so I feel like we can spoil something that's 42 years old. They kill Shredder in the very first issue.
Damn it, Sam. I read it. I'm out.
Right. Sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, they killed the Shredder in the very first issue because they never thought there was going to be an issue two. And I think now, if I'm correct, issue one has gone through 7 printings, not to mention
I think it's more than that.
Like that. Yeah. The number one best-selling independent book of all time, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, all right, aside from that, yes, it was a catalyst for getting me into wanting to do martial arts originally. So the first thing was I'm seeing all the old Chop Socky, Shaw Brothers, Golden Harvest, Kung Fu movies. And to this day, they're my favorite movies of all time. I always have to tell people.
It's funny, real quick, it's funny you mentioned Golden Harvest because we'll be talking about Golden Harvest tonight.
Perfect. So I'll tell people, oh my gosh, this is like a top 5 favorite movie of mine outside of the Shaw Brothers movies, right? Because I can't, because I love them. I love the Shaw Brothers movies. My girlfriend Blair, shout out to her. I think she would like if I watched a little less Kung Fu movies, but she's a good sport. She watches them. She really gets into a few of them. She tends to like them in small doses, So I try to compromise and watch those when she's not around and watch stuff with her that she likes when she is around. And a side note, speaking about her, we actually saw the original 1990 Ninja Turtles movie back in the theater this past year when they did it for the 35th anniversary. I took her to it. She had never seen it, and she had an absolute blast. So I see the Shaw Brothers movie. That plants the seeds. I'm like, oh, my gosh, I want to do this Kung Fu thing so bad. And then it's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, The Secret of the Ooze, right, where they can't use any weapons. Michelangelo's using sausages as nunchucks. And I see this guy, Kino the Pizza Boy. He's played by Ernie Reyes Jr., who's a fantastic martial artist in his own right. His father's phenomenal as well. And I'm seeing him, opening scene, try to deliver pizza, just whooping guys. And I was like, I've got to do this. Now, in my, whatever I was, 10-year-old brain, I'm thinking he's doing Kung Fu because it looks like what I'm seeing in these Shaw Brothers movies. It was a kind of an amalgamation of many styles, a lot of kickboxing, but that was it. I had to do it.
Sam immediately applied to Pizza Hut to get a job.
Yes. I've been
thinking he was going to learn martial arts at Pizza
Hut. Yeah. And still nunchucking with sausages. But I actually got to meet Kevin Eastman just a few years ago. I got pictures with it, and I explained this to him and brought one of our school shirts. And I told him that our school exists, at least my branch of it, because I saw the Ninja Turtles as a kid. That's where I went. So I gave him the school shirt. He wears it. He held it up and everything. And I'm friends with his wife.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm friends with his wife online, Courtney. We're friends on Facebook. And she told me a couple of times, like, yeah, he wears it around the house sometimes and stuff. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing of all time.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it was the Ninja Turtle was kind of that if you want to say the Shaw Brothers was the seed, the Ninja Turtles was the water that made the seed grow, into a plant. That's what made me want to get into martial arts.
Man, that's such an awesome story. Uh, I remember, I'm trying to remember exactly when I mean, I remember hearing about turtles. The comic book store I would go to when I was a kid, they would carry it. It would just come out so infrequent, and I didn't understand, like, why does it come out like X-Men or Avengers or Batman every month?
Yeah.
And you go back and look, those guys they tried to go to different publishers. Nobody would touch them.
Nope.
Not a soul would touch them. So they self-published, and I think they initially or eventually sold, I might be wrong on this, 100,000 copies of issue 1 at some point.
Yeah.
And that might include the reprints or whatever. And that was the highest selling independent comic until Youngblood #1 came out in, I think, like 92 with Rob Liefeld. And it's pretty awesome. So, like, the folks that don't know, so you have your big two, which is Marvel and DC. Then you have companies like Image Comics that'll take a lot of independent creators. So it's kind of like creator-owned titles. So, like, Sam and I did a book. Well, we would just publish it through my company. But if I didn't have my company, we'd try to go through Image. Then you got companies like Dark Horse. You got companies like Boom Studios, IDW, and a few other, Mad Cave and some others. But like an indie comic is just kind of like you're selling the comic out of the back of your trunk, kind of like Ice Cube and Dr. Dre and
Yeah.
Eazy with NWA, where they're literally selling albums and CDs out of their trunk at concerts and swap meets to get buzz and get it on the radio and sell more of their brand. And Turtles blew away all expectations. Now, the funny thing, when I said they were sitting around smoking dope and eating pizza, they were big fans of pizza and big fans of the Hobbit leaf, apparently. And they were also big fans of Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. And so for those who don't know, Daredevil is a character named Matt Murdock. He's blind. In the daytime, he's a lawyer. At nighttime, wears a red costume and defends Hell's Kitchen, New York, and other parts of New York City, and kind of fights like street level crime. He does stuff with ninjas and all that sort of thing. And there's a writer artist named Frank Miller who had an absolutely historic run. The same Frank Miller that did Dark Knight Returns, which is an awesome classic. Did 300, lots of cool books. They were big fans of the Frank Miller Daredevil run, because in that run you get introduced to Bullseye, you get introduced to Elektra, you get introduced to the Hand Ninja Clan, and Stick, and all these different characters, and it's just a very memorable run. And those that have watched the Daredevil show on Netflix or on Disney Plus, that's where all that comes from, is Frank Miller. So they were huge fans of Frank Miller, and they're like, yo, man, let's do our own Frank Miller style book. And I don't remember the exact sequence of how it happened, but one of them sketched out a turtle, and then they put like nunchucks in his hand, and they're like, oh, hey, let's mess with this. And so the end result was we had Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And so where Daredevil had the hand he had to contend with, the Turtles had the foot. Where Daredevil had Stick as his master or trainer, the Turtles had Splinter. And in the big thing, Daredevil got, so let me back up. Daredevil's blind. When he was a youngster, he pushed somebody out of the way, and some toxic waste or whatever hit him in the eyes, blinded him, but it heightened all his senses. So he can swing around the city like Spider-Man, fight people, because his hearing, his smell, his taste, his touch, it's all enhanced. And so that incident that created Daredevil in their mind and in their headcanon is what created the Turtles, because that same stuff leaked down. A kid was knocked over with his turtles. I think you even see a kid push an old man out of the way, and somebody drops their turtles, and the ooze goes down in the sewer. And of course, they were touched by humans, and they mutate, and the rest is history. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And it's funny because Daredevil is my favorite Marvel character, but when I fell in love with the Ninja Turtles, which was first for me, I had no idea they were based on,
Me neither.
Daredevil, especially Frank Miller's Daredevil. But once you start looking at it, it's very, very obvious. I mean, even to the point now where, in tribute to Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns is probably his most popular thing he's ever done, at least in the comic book industry. They've now done The Last Ronin, which is the Ninja Turtles version of The Dark Knight Returns, right? So it continues. The Daredevil and the Ninja Turtles parallels are throughout. I mean, they're throughout. They're both New York City, like you said. One has stick, the other has splinter, part of a stick, right? You've got the foot, you've got the hand. And like Dan was saying, so the origin story of Daredevil is essentially I don't know if he's even quite a teenager yet, maybe 10 or so, maybe he's a young teenager. And he sees kind of an out of control truck and it's going to hit this old man. And so he goes to push the old man out of the way. Truck crashes. This radioactive ooze splashes him in the eyes and causes him to be blind. But like Dan said, heightens his senses, gives him these superhuman powers. That ooze, or sometimes called mutagen, travel down the sewer. Then you see the rat and the turtles playing in that, and of course mutate into the Ninja Turtles. So their origin stories are linked. They're linked forever, which is super cool to me because, like I said, my favorite Marvel character and my favorite all-time comic book characters. That's pretty neat.
I absolutely love when they did the Batman Ninja Turtle crossover.
Oh, it was so good.
And I'm sorry, folks. I call them Ninja Turtles because to me they're kind of older now and grown up. But I would love to see them do a Daredevil Turtles crossover. That has to happen in this lifetime, because it's just full circle, and the Frank Miller variant cover that has to happen.
They've even done an old man Daredevil now too, kind of like the Dark Knight Returns. What was it called? Cold Day in Hell, maybe, or something.
Oh, yeah. You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I read that one.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. So now you've got the Dark Knight Returns Frank Miller, you've got the Last Ronin tribute to Frank Miller, and now you have the Daredevil Cold Day in Hell kind of old man.
How awesome was Last Ronin?
Oh, it's incredible.
I mean, damn.
Now it's getting a video game.
And it's so funny because, and Sam will vouch for this, Turtles 50, Turtles 100, I called what was going to happen.
Yep.
And in Last Ronin, I guessed who it was. And everybody was like, do you have some inside knowledge? Because I know you're on conference calls. I'm like, no, not with IDW, because they don't call retailers or realtors, as my friend calls it, which I am a realtor too. But they don't call us and tell us cool stuff like Skybound does, or sometimes once in a blue moon Marvel does. I just said, as a writer, that's what I would do. And I said, to me, it would make sense that Donatello would get killed. Raphael would get killed trying to avenge him out of anger. And then Leonardo would protect Michelangelo and train him. And then Leo would die defending him. And then Mikey would, the last guy you would expect, because everybody's like, oh, Last Ronin's definitely Raphael. Look how hardcore he is. And I'm like, no, this is someone that lost lost their smile. And Raph never had a smile. Mikey always had the smile. Real quick, some housekeeping notes. I want to wish my dad, Marvin Thompson, a happy birthday today. Dad, you better be watching the show. Wednesday's show was for you. I did What is a Comic Book? That was a request from my dad. He knows what a comic book is because he spent a lot of his paycheck on the ones I have from my childhood. And then secondly, I want to give a shout out to Jeff Bonner. Jeff, you better be watching. Jeff is a dad of one of my son's schoolmates. And he told me that Turtles was his jam. So Jeff, the show's kind of for you. And then also for folks on Facebook, for some reason, I cannot see the comments. So Sam has agreed to kind of look at the Facebook page. Yep, and if there's any comments, he'll kind of relay them. And we have a comment in chat. Jeffrey Thornton loved watching the Turtles when I was growing up. Yeah. Man, so quick story, and I forgot to look his name up to get it right. I think it was Ray Combs. Ray Combs was the host of Family Feud. They brought it back, and he was the host of the show. And I believe he had it was either him or a guy that kind of looked like him, had a daytime talk show briefly. And sadly, Ray Combs passed away years ago. Very tragic. But the talk show had people in Ninja Turtle costumes on. And so I might get a little emotional talking about this because it's one of my favorite memories. So I'm 10 and 11 years older than my sister and my brother. So I got to kind of help raise them when I was a kid. What's up, Cisco Beast? Tell your son to quit stealing stuff in my store. I was missing a whole bunch of books when you all came in. Um, yes, Bane. Bane always says, I don't steal. That's what every thief says, Bane. For those that don't know, Bane is my friend Cisco's son, and we give him all types of grief. We're always watching him. Every customer's like, I think he stuck something in his pocket. Poor kid's he's gonna come in and shoot us probably. But Bane, we love you. We're just teasing. You got a badass name, and we don't want to anger you. Um, Cisco's probably like, whatever. Um, so my mom and dad were at work, and I'd watch my sister and brother, and I got to help raise them, which was a huge honor for me. I always said if I didn't have kids, I kind of had kids with them, or with them, having them sister and brother. I know this is Kentucky. I don't want anybody to get that mixed up there. Um, so, wow, we're already getting started. Yeah. So this show was on, and I was like, Sarah, Nick, get in here, watch this. And the turtles were on, and they were so hyped about it, and so was I. And it's just like one of my favorite turtle memories is seeing their faces when these live action turtles were on this talk show talking about we're going to be in a comic and a cartoon. We got toys coming out, and we're based on this old this indie comic. And man, it's just one of my absolute favorite memories, Sam. And so I don't remember what came first, the comic for me or the toys. So one Christmas, and these are some of my most prized possessions. My mom and dad got me for Christmas the original graphic novels for Ninja Turtles. And like these will die with me. These will be in my tomb. Like, spoiler alert, like when I die, if you guys loot my body in my suit, you guys will probably find a lot of vintage stuff you can sell on eBay. I'm just saying. Like, oh, here's that Snake Eyes. Here's that Men on Card Yoda, and here's these things. So they got me 4 volumes of this. And I just remember Christmas Day, and these were in color, which the comic was in black and white. Because Eastman and Laird couldn't afford color for the comic, and it made it easier to produce, make it in black and white. But these are some of my most prized possessions, man, is these 4 Ninja Turtle books. But I remember when I was a kid, Cisco Beast, I am not above violating corpses. Well, I didn't mean it like that. I mean, if you want to get down like that with me when I'm dead, that's fine. But just, don't mess up the carded figures. But anyway, and hopefully I'm not dead for a long time. So my mom takes my sister and brother and I to Toys R Us because we were going to get Ninja Turtle figures. And I just had this memory just burned into my head, man, where I saw them in the package and they just look so freaking cool. And and of course I'm like, I think going 8th grade to freshman, maybe, or maybe freshman going to sophomore. I don't remember exactly. And which was only a couple of years ago. So we're talking about turtles from no. Everybody's like, the gig's up, Dan. We know. But so my sister wanted Raphael because that was her favorite. My brother wanted Michelangelo. My mom was like, honey, do you want one of these? And I was like, no, Mom, I just do comic books. Like, I thought I was cool. And like, when you say that out loud, it's the opposite of cool. I don't care who you are. It's not cool. Sean Connery could say it. No, Mom, I do comic books. It's like, yeah, it's not that cool. And then I saw Leo and I was like, blue's one of my favorite colors. He's got swords. He's kind of the leader. I'm like, Mom, I'll get him. So I got Leonardo. Man, I opened him up and I'm just like messing with him the whole time. Like, I know technically I'm not supposed to be playing with this, but I'm playing with this. And within 6 weeks, Sam, I had all the Ninja Turtles that were out. And so at this time, we had fixed up our basement. We remodeled our basement, or finished it rather. And so I had like this luxury suite downstairs. I had my own bathroom. That worked out great when I was in high school and started dating. But I had a waterbed. And so the waterbed, you had the framework that had the mattress with the water in it, and then there was the headboard, and underneath the headboard was a gap between the bed and the wall, like that big. So I had blue carpet, and we had this wood trim that was about that thick, and it was just big enough I could put all the Ninja Turtle weapon racks on. So I made underneath my waterbed the sewer, and so my sister and brother loved it. They'd come in and play. I would mess with them, and play with it at night. And we would all play together and all this stuff. And and I had them underneath my bed. And so, in the rare occasions that a girl was in my room, and the rock beans rare, they would be like, "Are those Ninja Turtles under your bed?" And I'm like, "Oh snap!" I'm like, think fast." Yes, because my sister and brother think it's the sewer, and they like to play with their Ninja Turtles in my room. Oh, that's so sweet. And I'm like, sometimes that worked out for me, sometimes it didn't matter. But it was just like, think fast, man, think fast, And so, like, getting those toys, and like, there's just something cool about, like, I always say that Batman's the coolest concept because it doesn't matter what art style you use. You can do manga, you can do Frank Miller, you can do Jim Lee, Walt Simonson. Hell, I could probably sketch out Batman, and I can't draw, and it would still be cool because it's Batman.
Mhm.
Coolest concept, coolest origin. Visually, just looks amazing. Very artistic, right? And Turtles is like right up there, man. Like, cause you can have them in the sewer, you can have them in New York City, you can have them in space, in the past, wherever you can have them, and they're just freaking cool.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think you're touching on a point that I think is really important when you're talking about the Ninja Turtles, which is their versatility. They can be in space. You can have a ground level, old school samurai, old Japan, feudal Japan. They can be stomping around modern New York City. They could be at a sporting event, right? Um, the Ninja Turtles are so versatile because there's a level of absurdity to it already. So you can do whatever. You can have Cuddly Cowlick, you can have Ace Duck and all this. You essentially just get this opportunity to be as wacky and creative as you want as an artist. And there's not really anything out of bounds because there's already, like I said, that level of absurdity. They're so versatile. And on the flip side of that, their fan base is so versatile because they can do whatever. So you can have the kids Saturday cartoon. In fact, at least I don't know if it's currently going on, but they have a children's comic running at the same time. They have a little bit more of an adult comic going
Yes,
on.
it's still going.
Okay, yeah. So you have the Saturday morning cartoon, a little bit more for kids. You have the Ninja Turtles movies, which are kind of in between. Then you have this Last Ronin coming out, which is very adult. You can lean in on the family aspect, the brotherhood, and the father sensei. You can lead into the historical aspect, feudal Japan. Also in the current IDW run, you're touching on reincarnation. You can go into the martial arts aspect of it. You can go into they've taken down governments, right? Um, it was divisive, but you've got Mutant Town at one point, which is the refugee story and all that stuff. So they're so versatile on what you can do with them. They're so versatile on the topics they can cover, and they're so versatile on the fan base that I think that's one of the big reasons that it just continues to speak to every generation going forward. Little kids are loving Ninja Turtles in the same way me and you did, and as a 43-year-old man, and I'm sure a 32-year-old man or whatever, you
Thank you. I
are.
appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're still loving Ninja Turtles. When the Seth Rogen movie came out, I think it was 3 years ago now. I
Damn, was that
loved
3 years ago?
I think so. I think
Wow.
so. I loved it. Loved it. I thought it was damn near a perfect movie for what I was looking for.
I
The
I
animation.
kind of like the I forget who directed it, but it was the Michael Bay produced movies. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't love them, but I liked them. They were fun.
Yeah, exactly. And I thought the second one was even a little bit more fun than the first one.
Yeah.
I liked both of them.
Now I think it's Wiz Khalifa did that song that was a badass rap song with the Turtles.
Vanilla
And it's like,
Ice, go Ninja
no,
go. I'm joking. I know what you mean. But yeah,
yeah,
so I'm
I can't put
still
over Villanova Ice because I'm a third base fan,
so
and
I'm
they don't care for him too much.
yeah, most people don't. But I'm still enjoying Ninja Turtles well into my 40s. But yet Blair's son at 7 years old is also enjoying the Ninja Turtles, you know? And I think that versatility is incredible.
Well, the smart thing about that property, so we're going to go a little bit in the weeds here. So as you know, as you probably remember, I did a pitch to Hasbro for GI Joe,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a lot of research in 2018, 8 years ago, which is crazy because it feels like yesterday.
So you were only
I did,
24 at the time.
huh?
So you were only 24 at the time that this happened.
Yeah, that's why they didn't accept it. They're like, this young guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah,
So I did all these
get some
tapes.
experience under your belt first.
Yeah, yeah, get a little experience first, kid.
Yeah.
So what a great problem that would be right now. So so what really I tell young men this all the time, no one takes you serious as a man till you're at least 35. Because that's what was told to me. And I would always say, like, would I let 22-year-old Dan sell my house or current day Dan sell my house? See how I did that current day Dan? I didn't
Right.
really reveal much.
Right.
Current day Dan all day, every day. 22-year-old Dan looked nice, had nice suits, smooth, knew his stuff, but just didn't have enough experience. Current day Dan, yeah, he'll sell your house. But shoot, made me forget what I was going to say. The Turtles. So when I was doing my research, and around the same time, I think it was the 2012 to 2016 or 2012 to 20 whatever Turtles were out. The one that had the CGI animated show.
Mm-hmm.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I think the last season had Usagi
Nickelodeon.
Yojimbo. I was looking for a prop here. It was this style Turtles.
Yeah, Nickelodeon.
Yes. And Wyatt was really little. We would go to Target Monday, Thursday, Friday. And I would get coffee at the Starbucks. And then, of course, I'm going to go look at toys. And I got my little boy with me. So we're going to get Hot Wheels, probably a new Stuffy or whatever. So we would go through on a Monday and they just restocked. So I was like, oh, cool. There's Baxter. I'll grab him. Already had the brothers, already had, the main guys.
Mm-hmm.
We go back on Thursday. They're completely sold out. No Turtles whatsoever.
Yeah.
No peg warmers, nothing. And I'm like, okay, as a collector, not a scalper, but as a collector, guys ain't buying the four brothers because they already got them. And there's no money in those for the scalpers. It's the, one-off figures, right? So I'm like, they're doing something right. Who's buying these toys? It's parents buying them for kids.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a show that you had a kids comic, like you said, you had an adult comic. Well, kids could read it too, older kids. You had a show that kids and adults could watch together. And that's the perfect formula. And you had a toy line that guys like me and you could collect and kids could collect and play with. And that's the perfect storm on all that. And Playmates does that, or Ninja Turtles rather, does that time after time. Every 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they relaunch it and they do it all again. Yeah. Because they look slightly different. It's more artistic style. And that's one thing about Turtles, just like with Batman, you can be pretty artistic with the style. You can have Mike Mignola draw them. You can have Stan Sakai draw them. You can have Frank Miller draw them. You can have Walt Simonson draw them. And they're going to look badass. Yep. Either way.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I'd like to jump in on that because that's one of the other things I think is really, really important when you're discussing the Ninja Turtles is what you're saying. You're talking about the one-off figures. The Ninja Turtles Rogues Gallery, I think, is that number one top tier of Rogues Galleries. I'm not going to say it's the best because you've got Batman and probably Spider-Man and X-Men. I would say those three. But I would put the Ninja Turtles.
But don't forget Dominus. Don't forget the Dominus. I mean,
Well, absolutely. But I didn't want to be too self-promoting,
I appreciate that.
Yeah. But the X-Men, the Batman, Spider-Man, and the Ninja Turtles, in my opinion, are in that top tier of they have so many different villains who are iconic and people want to collect it. You want to grab Shredder, but like we know with IDW, for example, Shredder, again, spoiler alert, dies in issue 50 and is gone for quite a while. And you've got Krang, or you've got
Bishop.
Yeah, you've got Bishop coming in. You've got the Triceratons, which kind of go back and forth, right? You got their names are escaping me, but the two main rock soldiers that
Krang, General Trag and
Trag, and I forget the other one.
Yeah, the other guy.
And that Krang kind of controls. And then, although they're not rogues, you've got the neutrinos. You've got Renee, the time traveler, who kind of can go either way. She's normally an ally, but sometimes some of that time travel stuff can get
You got
little
the
Harry.
Battle Nexus stuff.
Yeah, she got to get creative. You got the Battle Nexus stuff. Um, the foot soldiers are incredible and very, like you said, stylized, done different ways in all these different, based on who the artist is, what the art style is. They're drawn in completely different ways. The first uh, toy series, they had big long heads. They almost looked like aliens, like xenomorphs a little bit, and they were crouched
Ooh, I
down.
never
And I was
thought of
like, man,
that.
that's cool looking, you know. Um, Shredder.
Those toys in that packaging. Um, I'm friends with Kirk Bazingian. He was the one of the uh, GI Joe brand managers back in the 80s and 90s.
Okay.
And if you ever get a chance, look him up when he's talking about marketing. He teaches marketing in I think Rhode Island University or something.
Mhm.
He is such a marketing genius, and Playmates kind of picked up a cue from GI Joe with the file cards, the way the packages were, where you see the character, you got the logo, you got the branding, you got the character, you see what they come with, and on the back you have the collector experience where you see all the different characters you need to get and
Yeah.
want to get. You got the shell. What were they? The GI Joe had flag points. Transformers had the little symbol. Turtles had like the little shell where you
Right.
collect enough shells you can send them off for something. And then
Yeah.
they had the bio on the character, and it was just like such a perfect storm. And sorry to mean to cut you off there.
No, no, that's
Uh,
good. But that's I think their rogues gallery and even their gallery of friends too
oh
is so
gosh,
vast and they're so iconic
one
that
of
you
my
love them
favorites.
as much as the turtles. Yeah, Usagi, and he's getting an old man Usagi comic I think coming out soon. Uh,
He's you know the story about him getting in the turtles.
Tell me about it, or tell the audience about it. Yeah,
Kevin
absolutely.
Eastman was at a convention with Stan Sakai. So those that don't know, Usagi Yojimbo is a character created by Stan Sakai. Super great guy, super sweet man, and this is a great series. So it's kind of like feudal Japan, and it's all animal characters, and they have like little dinosaur pets. One of my favorite stories was a more recent one where Usagi and I forget the character's name. He's kind of the inspector, and looks like your classic inspector from like kung fu or martial arts movies. And they were trying to figure out who was bringing in these Crastians, and it was actually the story was about Christianity coming to Japan,
Hmm.
and it was just such a cool story. And Stan Sakai wrote it, drew it, just super awesome story. But Usagi was a character that Stan Sakai created, a masterless samurai, roaming the ground, roaming the feudal Japan, righting wrongs, doing jobs, and not jobs like a wrestler, like doing the job. He was, like a hired gun, so to speak. And Stan is at a convention with Kevin Eastman. They're next to each other in the booth, and they start drawing sketches of Leonardo and Usagi together. And they just said, "Hey, what about putting him in the comic with us?" Cool, and they did it. And Stan was like, "Could you get Usagi made as a figure?" And they're like, "Yeah, we'll throw him in there." And so you got this, which I don't have all his weapons on him.
Yep, that's
This
the
Usagi
original.
Yojimbo figure, yeah. And who doesn't like a rabbit that kicks ass with a sword? I'm just
Right,
saying. It's like
right,
Bugs Bunny on steroids,
right.
and it's just like the visualization of these characters. I can't get enough. Say it enough. Like again, Batman, kind of like the prototype, and then Turtles. Just you can draw them any way you want. Like that's the only thing I can draw. Like those that know, the jury's out if I'm a good writer or not. But I suck as an artist. But the one thing I can draw, like my son Wyatt will be like, "Let's draw something, Daddy," and I'm like, "Here's a Ninja Turtle head." Yeah,
Yeah.
you did that last 10 times. I asked you to draw, and I'm like, and I'll do that the next 10 times because that's all I can draw. Um, although there was some YouTube channel where they teach you how to draw, and I drew Hulk Hogan's face somehow.
Oh,
Um, I'm still not sure how I did that, but Turtles is just like I don't know. There was something about it. It captivated me when I was in high school. I just remember in biology class, I wasn't paying attention, and I was sitting there scripting out my own Ninja Turtle stories, which I'll get into that in a minute.
yeah, what I was saying about the versatility is you can come in as a comic book fan or, a movie fan or a martial arts fan or whatever, and you can find within the Ninja Turtles stories what you're looking for. Do I want an action-packed, just martial arts, cool, kind of kick-ass story? You can find that. Do you want a story that takes you back to feudal Japan where you get ninjas and samurai? You can find that. Do you want to, learn some about philosophy and reincarnation? You can find that. Do you want to lean into family, brotherhood, and kind of almost like buddy stories, like Casey and Raphael? There's like buddy cop stories almost. So you can go in there and find whatever it is you want within these stories. And there's not too many comic book characters, in my opinion, that can cover all that vast range. They have their couple things, but I think the Ninja Turtles, like I said, they just touch on so many different things that you can go in there and you can find what you're looking for. You have a strong older character with Splinter, you have a strong female character with April O'Neil. I mean, she fights, she's intelligent. She's not one that just walks like the old Lois Lane where she just happens to put herself in every horrible situation possible for super income rescuer. Thankfully, they've gotten away from that.
I saw a clip from Superman 4 where she's on the subway and the guy has a heart attack and the subway train's out of, and Clark Kent's down there. He misses the subway train and he hears her screaming. He's like, damn, bitch. He's like throwing his stuff down like, all right, I'll go save you again,
Right. But April O'Neil's very intelligent and clever. She helps the Turtles all the time. She can even fight, a little bit. One of the neutrinos, female character. Sometimes I think Krang is a female. I'm not kind of sure. Sometimes it,
these days we don't know,
Yeah.
What's a Krang, what's not a Krang,
Right. And then, you got this fifth turtle in the IDW series, Jenny, the female. So you can, like I said, you can come into it from essentially any cultural aspect and see something that appeals to you. If if your family is from another country and you want to see the refugee story, like I said, you got Mutant Town, stuff like that. So they just touch on so many different things that, if you want to come in, if you're like, hey, I'm looking for a new comic book or I'm looking for something I could dive into, you're going to find what you're looking for within the Ninja Turtles, in my opinion. And
you're 100% correct.
Yeah. If you remember, I was out of comic books for a long time, not because I was jaded or didn't like them or anything. I just, college had so many things to do and all that different stuff. And when I got out of college and I was loving comics, I wanted to get back in, but it's like giving a crackhead some cash and a rock. I was kind of like, I don't want that because I know what this is going to lead to.
He got me over there with a trench coat, open it up. I got your comics.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm comics.
Issue 1, baby. And the first thing that got me back into comics, the first thing I read was Daredevil Shadowland. It was the very first thing.
Oh, dude, that was a great series.
Yeah. And I'm like, ooh, God, I'm itching. And I came into your store. We were talking about it. And you said, Sam, based on what you're telling me, go pick up that Ninja Turtles IDW. And I'll tell you which one it was. It was issue 5. I had to go back and get 1 through 4, which you graciously found for me. Dan's great at finding back issues for people, just so you all know if you need something. It was issue 5 of the IDW run. And oh my gosh, I was hooked immediately. I was like, this is a little more adult.
Is that the Christmas episode? I can't remember.
No, not yet. It was the first one when Raph linked back up with the family.
Oh, okay.
He got separated from the first 4.
Because four is the Christmas one, and they get their colors.
Yes, I think that's correct.
So real quick, continue with what you're saying.
Oh, I was just gonna say. So I pick up this issue 5, and all of a sudden I'm reading about reincarnation, and I'm like, whoa, this hasn't been done in the Turtles before. That's a cool way of doing this. And I'm looking at the artwork, which was by, why can't I think of his last name?
Was that Campbell?
No, Sophie Campbell a little later. It was a pop in my head saying, I've got some of his original art from the Ninja Turtles on my wall. In fact, and I'm not inviting anyone to try to come into my house or anything, but I've got the original artwork for the first reveal of the Shredder from the IDW series.
Yeah, because we didn't see him for a while.
Yeah, issue like 11 or something like that, 11 or 12. I've got that original page.
Well, let's talk about that series real quick.
Yeah.
So, because I remember you and I really bonded over that.
Yeah.
Sam and I immediately didn't like each other because he hated Snake Eyes, and so I was just like, "Yeah, get out, throw that bum out." Right? Yeah, there was actually a Halloween party we had at my store where we actually fought.
If we're talking about that, do you want to concede on air my Star Wars take at this point? Do you want to tell me? Yes.
Oh, 100%. You were correct about Star Wars.
Thank you.
And that's an entirely, and I've told you that before.
You have.
I've reached out to you. Did I want to show you this Leonardo Snake Eyes?
Yeah.
And in the immortal words of DX, really suck it. Because he's pretty badass.
Really awesome.
Huh?
I said that's 50% really awesome.
Oh man, come on now. Real quick, and then I want to get into history of like the Turtles, the movies, and the comic. But the IDW series, in my opinion, issue 1 to 100 is the perfect comic book series.
Yeah.
Tom Walsh wrote it, and Kevin Eastman was kind of like the showrunner. So it covers. It would cover.
Dan was the artist.
What's that?
Dan Duncan was the artist. I just had.
That's right. Yeah. I just remember like issue 1 had a Walt Simonson variant cover.
Yep.
And him drawing the turtles like that's mine. Don't nobody touch it. Because I ordered up on it, and I read the first issue, and I was like, it's okay. I've not really read Turtles in a while. And the second issue came out, and I reread 1 and 2 together, and it was the chef's kiss. It was like, this series is awesome. I have never read a bad, from issue 1 to 100, I never read a bad issue.
Yeah.
I can't say that about any other comic.
Nope.
And it was so freaking good. So like people would, like Sam would come in and be like, man, I've been out of comics for a while. And then my thing is like, what did you like before? I like Batman, Spider-Man, Daredevil, Transformers. Okay, cool. Get Batman, get Daredevil, get Ninja Turtles, and get Transformers. Ninja Turtles. Buy the first volume. If you don't like it, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah, that's actually what you said to me with issue 5.
And they'll come back and like order 2 and 3 for me. And man, the series is so good. So that series, which in my mind is kind of canon, and there's been so many iterations where Splinter was a rat that was a pet of Hamato Yoshi, or Splinter was Hamato Yoshi. So in this series, you find out that the Turtles and Splinter are father and sons. So he has sons. He joined the Foot Clan. He had anger issues. He met this woman that calmed him down, made him a calm spirit. And he's a member of the Foot Clan. And the way the Foot Clan would work, and he was friends with Oroko Saki, who would eventually become the Shredder. They were brothers, basically brothers. And the way the Foot Clan would work, so say like Sam takes over my land and starts taking my cattle. I would go to the Foot Clan. Hey man, Big Sam's coming in, taking my stuff. We got you. This is what you're gonna owe us. And they would go in, take out Sam, and then they would, remove, you get your land back and your property or your cattle. And it kind of worked. There was like a balance. They were kind of like a mafia / police. Well, then Shredder, we'll just call him Shredder, had the idea of like, Splinter, you and I should run this. Splinter was like, yeah, maybe. And so Splinter and Shredder kind of take over. And Shredder, that same scenario, Shredder would come back to me like, hey, we killed Big Sam. We didn't just get your stuff back. We killed him. Now you owe us money, and half your land belongs to us, and give me your daughter. Like, that's the way they ran it. And Splinter was like, yo, man, I ain't down with that. I'm out. More power to you. I'm out. I just want to be with my wife and sons. That made the Shredder so mad in that series, he killed Hamato Yoshi's wife. And Yoshi's anger came back, and he's like, I'm going to kill him and all of the Foot, which he could have because he was a total badass. And she says, no, take our 4 sons, train them to be a good man like you. You have it within you. So he takes the sons, they go into hiding, and then eventually Shredder finds them. and all five of them were lined up on their knees, tied up, and he's like, "I told you I'd find you, you disgusting person. You know, how dare you betray the foot?" I'm paraphrasing here, folks. And as he goes to behead all of them, Splinter looks at him and says, I will get my revenge in this life or the next." And you say, swoosh, they're dead. As they die, they're reincarnated into animal bodies that just happen to get mutated and turned into Ninja Turtles and Splinter. And it was the most brilliant, brilliant storyline that they've ever done for this. And I think all that gets revealed in 4, because when the book starts, it's only Leo, Mikey, and Donnie. Raph is missing. And they're all wearing red as a nod to the original series where they all wore red.
Yep.
And they find Raph, and it's a Christmas issue because they have this like little pathetic, cute little Christmas tree in the sewer. And Splinter gives them their colors. So they all have their individual colors. And damn, Sam, that was so, and their weapons, and they're so freaking amazing.
Yep.
And I was reading this, I was like, this is better than it deserves to be.
Yeah.
This is so good.
Yeah. To hammer home your point, and I've had this debate with a couple of my comic book friends, issues 1 through 100 of IDW. And then if you remember, they had all the micro series. So they had the one-off Raph, the one-off Leo, and they had mini stories too that were typically 4 issues apiece. It totaled up to, give or take, like 150 issues by the time issue 100 came out. Like I said, give or take. It was 150 issues of perfect comic books.
It was, folks, we're not, this isn't hyperbole. We're not making this up. This series was that good. Yep. I had people that didn't know anything about Turtles. They didn't care about Turtles. They read it and they loved it. And still to this day, love that series.
And I will say to anybody, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying it's the best, but my favorite story in any comic book ever is The Secret History of the Foot.
That's a great series.
It's a 4-issue. I've still got the big oversized, like kind of like how DC does the Absolute. I still have that at my house, read it occasionally. It is, to me, the single best comic book story I've ever read. And right up there, get away from the Turtles for a second, I love the first 4 issues of Uncanny X-Men. Rick Remender, the Apocalypse with the 4 Horsemen, was absolutely incredible with Jerome Pena's art. It still doesn't touch The Secret History of the Foot. It just doesn't touch it to me. And that was Mateus Sanchaloco on the art, who I think is the best comic Ninja Turtles artist I've ever seen.
Well, people, I mean, during that time you had New 52 Batman come out, or New 52 in general. Then you had Marvel Now come out, and I still put Turtles above all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, and what I think is so great about it, and this is one of just kind of my own comic book opinion, if you listen to my favorite characters, Ninja Turtles, Daredevil, Swamp Thing, and then there's Batman to the side. So Batman, of course, is an A-list character. He's the A of A-list characters. But Ninja Turtles wasn't an A-list character. Daredevil wasn't an A-list character. And Swamp Thing certainly isn't an A-list character. But if you start looking at some of the highest regarded runs ever in the history of comics, especially of the main 2 comics, like you said, Marvel and DC, you see Daredevil, whether it's Frank Miller, Brian Michael Bendis, right? You see Swamp Thing, Alan Moore, Scott Snyder. And same thing with Batman, although, again, like I said, Batman a little off to the side. And the reason I think they work so well, and this is why I think the Ninja Turtles work so well, is because they're not A-list characters. The editors leave them alone. They let the creators tell the story that they're looking to tell. They're not often swept up into all these crazy crossovers and, no, you can't do this because we need this character to do this because this is coming up and blah, blah, blah. They just let them tell their stories. And, I heard Dan Didio once say, and I'm not trying to crap on Dan Didio because maybe he's like the coolest dude of all time. I don't know. But he said once in an interview when he was overseeing DC, I think it was during the New 52 run, and it wasn't going very well. And he said, comic books are so much more than just getting a good artist and a good writer together and telling a good story. And I was like, not really. Not really. If you have a great creative team and you let them tell the story they want to tell, it's probably going to be a pretty good story.
You could take
And I think
You get
that's where, sorry, I think that's where one of the things that works with the Ninja Turtles so well is you had this 100 issue run with all these side issues, and you had the same creators doing what they wanted to do. You didn't have IDW come in and say, no, you've got to do this or that. Whereas Eder saying, no, no, you have to do this, do that. They just let them tell their story. And it was
man,
perfect.
that's such a good run. I cannot express enough how perfect that run is.
Yeah.
I mean, that needs to be taught in writing schools, like how to write books, TV, movies, poetry, whatever. That run in Ninja Turtles is perfection.
Yeah.
There's
As
no
Tom
bad
Waltz,
issue.
who I think is a former Marine, if I remember correctly, Tom Waltz.
Well, dude is a G, and he needs to be on everything. And
Yeah.
sadly, he's not. He probably doesn't play the politics game like kissing up to people or who you know or what you know or whatever. Because he that run, and they didn't make a big deal about it, and it just consistently every issue was good. Good, like I'm looking at it like, okay, this one would be a bad one, right? Nope, this was good. The
Yeah.
only one, and you and I talked about this when it came out, was Casey and April.
Yeah.
That was the
That was
only
a little spicy.
one we could say was kind of not the best, but it was still better than 90% of the comics out there
Right.
because it was
Right.
still associated with that.
It's like it
So,
reminds me of when I was coming up, and I'm a big '90s hip hop guy, especially New York hip hop. Don't get me wrong, I like West Coast stuff. I like Scarface and Outkast out of Atlanta, Scarface out of Texas, that type of stuff. But we'd have these '90s hip hop guys that we'd get a guy like say Core Mega, and I was like, Core Mega's all right. He's not that great. I don't really love his voice. But now when I listen to like current hip hop, I'm like, Core Mega's great compared to this, And that's how that April and Casey run was. It was a 4-issue mini series on one of those offshoots we were just talking about, micro series. And it wasn't as good as the rest of the micro series or the main story at all. It wasn't. But put up, like you say, against 90% of the comics that were coming out, it's better.
so when I was a teenager in high school, I would play with my sister and brother, and we had our own superhero universe that I created, which ended up becoming the Dominus. And so I had the Marvel superheroes Secret Wars figures. I had Wolverine and Spider-Man still.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did the typical Marvel crossover where Spider-Man and Michelangelo teamed up. So back up a little bit. I had a blue carpet in my room, and our family room had this kind of reddish pinkish carpet. Don't judge, it was the 80s. We just kind of that's the way we did things. So my room in my mind was New York City. And I thought, like, man, the turtles are so cool. They're in New York City. New York is this, in my mind, was this epic, mythical place. And you had it's the home of the Marvel Universe. The Avengers have a mansion over here. You got Daredevil holding down Hell's Kitchen. You got
And the
Power
world
Man
champion and the world champion New York Knicks. I'm just saying.
yeah, and props to you for that because we talked right before that.
That's right.
If Jordan was eternal, it would be Chicago, the Chicago Bulls being the champs. But you all had to win when Jordan retired like 30 years ago. But that's cool.
Like everybody else.
Yeah, right. Everybody's like, "Damn, we got a chance now."
Right. Right.
But New York's like the home of Marvel Comics, the Marvel Universe, all this cool stuff, and it's the Turtles, right? So I had Spider-Man, my Secret Wars Spider-Man teamed up with Michelangelo. They got along great. They were doing their thing. And then I had Wolverine and Raphael team up. And of course, just like any good hero story, they fight. Because, like, I don't know who you are. I don't know who you are. Let's fight. They fought and they both got attacked in my mind, in my little play story. They got attacked by the hand and the foot. So, like, you know what? I don't think you're my enemy. We're friends. They fight, they kick ass. And then Wolverine's like, anytime you need me, bub, just call out. He's like, I'm with you, bud. And so I think I even had a story where like Wolverine, Casey, and Raph teamed up. And that would be so fun to write as an adult now. And so in my room, it was blue carpet, and it was New York City for the Turtles. The family room, which is what my room led into, was this pinkish red carpet. So I did this storyline one time where, and I would do this stuff where I would time it with like, as you know, I'm a big Dallas fan, Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, they might win in the playoffs again sometime.
You know what, Sam? I'm sorry, we lost Sam. I don't know what happened. Hey, have you been watching training camp footage and stuff for the teams?
Not
Dallas
really.
is looking really strong. I've got some customers that drive them nuts every year. What can I say? A broken clock's right twice a day. Twice a day is this season, buddy. And my prediction is Dallas wins the East and they win some playoff games.
Okay.
Christian Parker is the second coming. I'm telling you right now.
I just
It's a
love Jerry Jones going, yeah, I was glad to trade Micah Parsons. I was like, that's a weird take, but that's
that
fine.
was I'm telling you right now as a fan that was the best trade they did because you
Okay.
saw what happened in Green Bay. He got injured. He's always injured. He didn't show up. Sorry, everybody, we're veering off topic a little
Yeah,
bit,
we shouldn't have done this.
which happens with me sometimes. If you talk to me, we'll be talking about something and we're over here, we're over there, and now we're back. Um, the year that we had a really great year and we lost to Green Bay at Dallas, Dak was just crushing it. Offense was crushing it. Micah had a breakout year. The year that the game we played the Cardinals, which they always kind of seem to have our number for some reason. Micah had boo boo face. For those who don't know, is Sam and I were wrestlers, and say like I'm the champ, and Sam's the new guy coming up, and I got to put him over. I got to let him win. If you're a professional, you come out and you tough guy Dan, blah blah blah. Damn, Sam beat me. Boo boo face is when you come out and you're like, man, Dan doesn't seem like himself. What's going on? I bet he's going to lose to Sam. Sure enough, Sam wins the title. That's boo boo face. Micah Parsons had boo boo face like nobody's business. And everybody's like, Dak sucks. I mean, he's only like one of the highest rated quarterbacks in the league. He doesn't play defense. Micah Parsons does. Where was he? Where was he in that Green Bay game? Nowhere to be found. So I'm happy with Quentin Williams, Caleb Downs, some of the other
What,
additions to the team.
what do you think
And
the
and
Ninja Turtles think about the Dallas Cowboys?
that's their favorite team, man.
It's
Well,
not.
them being from New York, they probably like the Giants, even though
Yep.
the Giants don't even freaking play in New York. They play in Jersey,
Right.
like the New York Jets, because the Jets and the Giants suck so bad they got to play in another state.
That's fair.
Uh, I think probably Rav's probably a Giants fan. Leo, who's very smart because he's the leader, he's probably a Dallas Cowboys fan. Where's the blue?
He might be an
Mikey.
Eagles fan.
Oh, don't say that.
Winning franchise, Super Bowl recently, and they're green.
They also have a jail cell and a courtroom in their stadium.
But they have to.
Good friend of mine, Jonathan Crawford. Shout out to you if you're watching tonight. Hopefully you are. You should be because there's nothing else better to do than watch Dancast on a Friday night. Forget the clubs, folks. Hit Dancast, then go to the club. You'll be motivated and ready to roll. My friend Jonathan, the first year I owned the Zone it was the Dallas Seattle uh, kickoff snafu with Tony Romo, where Jerry stupidly got rid of our placeholder or kick holder, and Romo had to do it, and they botched the kick, and he tried to run it in, and we lost to I think Seattle. That year, we were already in the playoffs, so we benched everybody, and Eagles beat us because we benched everybody. The game didn't matter. Well, my friend Jonathan, as a birthday gift, got to go to that game because he's a big Eagles fan,
That's cool.
and he's like, bro, I love my Eagles, but damn, we some bad fans. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I watched this lady wearing a Cowboys jersey, this old lady, get punched in the face at the game. And he's like, then I saw this little kid walking in with his dad wearing his Cowboys gear, and they egged a 7-year-old. And I was just like, damn, man, like your fans suck.
Philly fans there's no doubt.
And I, as a kid and as an adult, I'm terrified of the Raiders. Not so much now they're in Vegas. I think it's kind of like the Hangover now. Like they're, what's his name's jumping out of the trunk naked and stuff, and Bradley Cooper's running around with a hand in his hair. But when they were in L.A. or Oakland, they scared the crap out of me. Those guys look like their fans look like the Road Warriors.
Yeah.
Face paint, spikes. When I was a kid, Macho Man and Sting are my two favorite wrestlers. And Sting and somebody had to wrestle the Road Warriors. And I ran into my mom's room. I was like, Mommy, we got to pray for Sting. He's got to wrestle the Road Warriors, and they're scary. So my mom and I are like, God, please help Sting with this match. It's like we're so, she's like, placating me, but like that's how scary they were. And that's the Raiders fans. I'm like, that's them. That's them. They're scary. Not so much now. Uh, back to Turtles. We like drove the car off the cliff. Which if you come in the shop, this happens a lot.
It does. Yeah.
It really does. Thanks for telling people that.
Yeah. That's not a bad thing.
Sorry, we have personalities.
Right.
But we're not androids selling you stuff we don't know anything about. Like some shops we won't speak of that leave me bad Reddit comments. But anyway, the Turtles. So that run of Turtles, I sold so many of Volume 1, 2, and 3, and like I told you, like if you don't like it, I'll buy it back.
Yeah.
And so folks would come in, they're like, "Hey man, what's good to read? I've been out of comics for years." I'm like, "All right, Scott Snyder's Batman, Robert Kirkman's Walking Dead, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Transformers." Well, I'm not into Turtles and Transformers. I'm an adult, and that's kid stuff. Read these. I promise you'll like them. They come back in. Hey, can you order me Volume 2 and 3 and 4? Yep, I got you. Ordered. So going back a little bit in time, I've got some notes. I'm not smart enough to have my notes up here. I have to look down. Call it boomerism. The Turtles, it was a hard sell. They were trying to sell this thing that was like their homage to Frank Miller's Daredevil. Nobody would touch it. They had the balls to do it on their own, which I so respect and appreciate.
Oh yeah.
Because that is truly America. America, it can be Oprah Winfrey. I want to be a top person in a field dominated by white middle-aged men. Oh, you can't do it because you're fat and black, and you're a woman, and she does it, and not only does it, but rewrites the game and becomes an icon. Michael Jordan, greatest basketball player on earth, gets cut from his high school basketball team. No, man, that ain't right. Practices every day, gets on the team, goes to college, wins an NCAA title. The rest is history. Goes on to become the greatest basketball player of all time. Arnold Schwarzenegger, a fan. I was going to say a fan of ours. It'd be great if he was a fan of ours.
Yeah, he loves us.
I love Don and Sound very much. They're very cool.
Yeah.
We're big fans of him. Sorry.
I'm waiting for his comment here on Facebook.
I mean, it's coming. It's coming. Do we have any comments on Facebook you want to read, or
nope.
Are we okay? People are probably confused because I did a show on Wednesday, and then we're doing one tonight. Arnold came from Austria, wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder, an actor, and a businessman, and then a politician. Did all that stuff.
Yep.
Eastman and Laird I put up there too because they're two guys that wanted to do something different, and they did it, and they made a gigantic multimedia empire. So they had a lot of trouble getting Turtles kind of sold as a property. They hooked up with a guy named Mark Friedman. He was the marketing guy, a genius. He got him hooked into Playmates. Playmates until next year, but up until next year has had the license to make Ninja Turtle toys for over 40 years.
Yeah,
we have 40 years, and how great is that? And every 5 to 8 years they relaunch it, and it takes off, and it's bigger than ever. And I can't wait to the next iteration of it. And currently, those that wonder, Mattel has the license, which they'll be unveiling stuff maybe at New York Comic Con, probably definitely Toy Fair next year in February, because Mattel has the license now, and I think they're going to do very, very, very well with it. Star Wars used to be guaranteed money, not so much anymore. It's guaranteed trailer park. No offense to people in trailer parks. And Big Sam was right about the Star Wars movies. Shout out to Big Sam. I was actually talking to people about that today. Not you, but episode 8 and 9 and how awful they were.
Yeah.
And it's kind of surprised me that people were like, oh no, you don't know how bad they were. They were kind of burying it more than I was. Um, but Turtles, it struggled. They couldn't find a home for it, but they found a home with Playmates. Oh, I'm sorry, Mattel. Mattel's going to have the license, and I'm urging people buy Mattel stock. It's $15.23 a share, I think, as of yesterday. Mattel has a strategy. Hasbro would do well to learn from them. Um, Look at He-Man, kids line, medium line, collector line. That's what you need to do. With DC, would they have the DC license again? They have a kids line. They're going to unveil the collectors line in October. And with Turtles, kids, mainline, collectors. They have the right formula. So with Turtles, I feel like Turtles is kind of like how Star Wars was. If you have it, it's printed money. So buy Mattel stock. Give me your money, I'll buy it for you. With a little commission. So Mark Friedman gets them hooked up with Playmates. They make toys. Playmates says, "Hey, we'll do this, but not off a comic. You gotta have a cartoon." So they get the cartoon rolling. It's kind of kidified, if you will, because the comic was more violent, and it really took off. I remember watching. I got the freaking theme song stuck in my head all day. Because I'm like running up. My son knows how to make popcorn now, which makes me feel really old because we're getting in that stage where he's not using like the baby kind of kid cups and spoons. He's using like he's drinking milk from an adult glass. I'm like, when did this start? He's like, well, I'm almost 10. Yeah, Daddy wasn't going to drink anymore because he was cutting weight, but we're going to buy a bottle of bourbon and feel like a bum on the street. Wyatt's in fourth grade, Sam. Can you believe that?
I know it's crazy. It is. I saw the Facebook post. It's pretty
He's
wild.
going to be 10 in September.
It's crazy.
I can't wrap my head around that. That'll be a whole podcast where I'll be crying all day.
Yeah.
People are like, you cry over your kid? Yeah, sorry, I love my kid. Playmates gets the license. They said to Eastman and Laird, they're like, look, man, this is going to work. You got a cartoon, but toy lines last 3 years, and that's it. Of course, they didn't pay attention to Star Wars, Transformers, or G.I. Joe, or He-Man, but whatever. And, Playmates has had the license for Turtles since 1987, I guess. That's when they signed the dotted line to, like, this year. Do the math on that. That's a really long time.
Yeah.
And Mattel's going to have it officially next year. They have it now, going into effect next year. So Turtles gets this cartoon. It's really kind of kidified, but it's still cool as you know what. And it was just fun. The whole thing was fun. So then they do a comic book. It's like, well, we got this kid's cartoon. We can't do this black and white ultra-violent comic book. So Archie gets a license to do Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
And that was a fun book. They did a little mini-series. It takes off. They do an ongoing series that lasted for years. Then, Mirage, Eastman and Laird are still doing Turtles. They bring in Usagi Yojimbo. He shows up in the old cartoon and the comics, all the new cartoons, and like everything kind of runs its course. It goes away. And then 4Kids gets the rights to do a Ninja Turtles cartoon, which was on Fox Kids. And that cartoon was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Eastman kind of divests himself from Turtles, and it's all Peter Laird. And Peter kind of oversees the project. It's with Fox Kids. That cartoon was phenomenal. It really followed the comic book series, where they meet Kirby, which is a nod to Jack Kirby. Those who don't know, Jack Kirby's like one of the most influential, phenomenal comic book artists and writers of all time. He was doing like 20 comics a month, which you can barely get guys to do one comic a month. He's knocking out 20, living that family life, doing whatever, smoking pipes. Yeah, I'm on my 10th book today, just knocking it out. They were big fans of Jack Kirby, so they threw a nod to him with this character named Kirby. I remember that episode like it was yesterday where Donatello meets him. Kirby's pen would take him to other worlds,
Yep.
and it all looked like Jack Kirby stuff. Um, that Fox Kids show ran, I can't remember how many seasons, but do you remember how many seasons that was?
I think it was 3.
No, I think it went more than that.
You think so?
Yeah, because they got in like the Battle Nexus. They were
Mm-hmm.
like lost in space. But it ran its course. But that was a phenomenal series. They did toys for it. Like literally every 5 or 8 years, they relaunched Turtles. And it's this great concept with a little, salt and pepper on it. Spice it up a little bit, change it up, go forward, go back, boom, off to the races. Kids, adults, go for it. Then that cartoon ends. It ended with the. So remember, I owned the shop at the time. They did that series where it was like kind of like Turtles and Infinite Crisis of Turtles,
Mm-hmm.
where like you had the black and white comics, you
Yep.
had the '80s Turtles, the Fox Kids Turtles, all like in the same cartoon.
Yep.
They were stopping some crazy thing from happening, and that's how it ended. And it was really, really good. Then it goes dormant for a while, and then in 2012, you have the CGI animation cartoon come out, and figures come out that were very stylized. And Leo here was kind of from that run, and also the IDW run. IDW being the comics, and that series was pretty cool. I'll never forget. I didn't like CGI animation. I'm real old school because I'm real old, and I love animation, not that CGI computer crap. Because to me, it gets really dated. Like you go back and watch The Matrix, watch Matrix 2, you're like, yeah, it was cool back in the day. It's very dated now. Chat, where are you at? I need some people to make some comments. Kevin Robinson, I know you're watching. No, I do not have Soundwave yet, but ask me anyway. Um, for those who don't know, we bought a big G.I. Joe Classified collection. Come in tomorrow, I'll make me an offer. You can buy some of it. Cisco B says, I need that in writing. Talking about my dead body.
Yeah.
That's
Tell
kind of
about your
weird.
corpse. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man. But thanks for thinking of me. I appreciate that.
Well, and
But the
don't forget
Fox,
too in the timeline, that image run. They had that image run that was very adult, and you even had Donatello get what we thought was killed, but he's basically half dead, and they have to morph him into a cyborg just to keep him living and stuff. And that
that
was
is
a
a
fun,
crazy run.
very different run. Yeah, it's very crazy and weird, but it's really good and more
The most,
adult. And that's when where Raphael became Shredder.
yeah,
Yeah,
the most
yeah,
consistent run prior to IDW was the Archie series,
yeah, yeah.
and they launched Mutanimals out of that,
Yep.
which Mutanimals in the IDW series I freaking loved.
I think the Neutrinos was an Archie creation. I know Ace Duck was Cuddly Cowlick. Some of those. Yep. Mondo
Boris the
Gecko.
Moose or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
they Playmates kind of went off the rails. They're like, we're mutating everything. You got a cat, it's mutated. You got a moose, it's mutated. But that stuff it's still all really fun, and it
Yeah.
kind of makes sense and fits in that universe. So you had the Fox Kids ends a couple years later. You have the CGI Nickelodeon cartoon, and I remember somebody lent me like season 1 and 2, or gave them to me or whatever. And I had them in the shop back when we were open on Mondays. Monday is the worst day ever in a comic book store next to Sunday. Um, and I'm doing like busy work, and I put it on, and it had like some homage to Chuck Norris, this and that. Clancy Brown's doing voice work, and I'm just like, huh, this is kind of cool. So I take it home and rewatch it, and I'm all in, man. And I'm buying the toys, and of course my son comes along. We're going around. Do you remember when Mega Bloks was doing the little blind bags of the turtles?
Yeah.
Sam, I was buying those with my baby in the stroller. I was like, one day these are going to be yours. And then one day came and I gave them to him.
That's
And
cool.
that was like one of the like most awesome father son moments ever. Where like I know you don't really understand what I'm saying, but I'm buying these. I'm gonna hold on to them, but they're yours. And then when he got old enough, I gave them to him, and he was like playing with them like nobody's business.
Yeah.
And that was just such a cool feeling as a dad. Um, and that series was really cool. And I remember Wyatt was really little, and it was a Sunday. My wife was fixing breakfast. He's sitting on my lap, and we're watching the four turtles team up with my boy Usagi Yojimbo. And I was like, oh, this is so cool. I got my baby, and I'm watching the turtles with Usagi Yojimbo. And that series was phenomenal. And I felt like I really felt like they ended it too soon. And this was the figure from that series.
Yeah. It's
And
very cool.
and there's so many turtle figures and interpretations of them. And I want to show a couple real quick. This is from a recent, in the last couple of years, Stan Sakai did a series where the turtles and Usagi teamed up, and they did figures for them. So here's Leo.
That's a NECA, is it not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Donnie.
Yeah.
Which everybody, Mondo and NECA can't do turtles. I think after next year. That's how all in Mattel is. So I think Mattel's got some big plans for it. So buy your Mattel stock, $15.23, 15.23 a share. Here's Mikey, Donnie, or I'm sorry, Raph. Sorry, I already showed Donnie. And this is Usagi from that series.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's like you can get as artistic as you want with these characters. You can be like Jim Lee, Walt Simonson, Stan Sakai, God forbid Dan Thompson. You can really do some cool stuff with these figures and these characters. And man, when I was in high school, like I said, I had created this superhero universe, and I had Wolverine and Spider-Man in it, and other characters, and I'd have it where the turtles would show up and team up, and I had we're going back to the blue and red carpet or pinkish carpet. I think it was kind of pink. It was '80s, folks. Don't judge. And I had this storyline in my head. My dad called me aside one day. He goes, "You playing with your brother and sister last night, weren't you?" I was like, "Yeah." They went to bed at 7:30. Yeah. You were still playing at 9. Was that just you? Yeah, it was me. I was playing with the turtles. I was in high school. Who cares? But it helped me like be creative and come up with stories. And I had this story one time where Dimension X was invading New York City. And so the red pinkish carpet was Dimension X. And my door was like this big portal. And the turtles were trying to fight it back. Here comes Spider-Man and Wolverine to help out because they had befriended them, and maybe even Batman showed up and kind of helped repel Dimension X. But that's another thing. So you have the turtles, you have Shredder and the Foot Clan are the main enemy, like you were seeing the Rogues Gallery. You have Krang and Dimension X, Triceratons, the Battle Nexus. There's just so many places to go with this. I mean, you could have the turtles team up with Batman, Daredevil. Hell, I mean, they've even teamed up. Where'd he go? They teamed up with G.I. Joe.
Mm-hmm.
They've
crossed over with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers recently.
The Shredder Cobra Commander is one of the coolest figures ever.
Yeah, that one's cool. Yeah, it is. But yeah, the Ninja Turtles crossed over with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers recently in the comics.
He-Man?
And they did it with what's the anime? They just did it with an anime too in the comic books. I can't remember who it was. I'm not a big anime person, but the Ninja Turtles crossed over with some sort of anime in the comic books for a mini-series.
Trying to think who that was. That must have been in the manga side of it.
Yeah, I can't remember, but yeah, they've crossed over several times. The Ninja Turtles Mighty Morphin Power Rangers comics were awesome, and I'm not a huge Power Rangers guy. Like, it's cool or whatever, but they were really, really good comics with some great artwork.
So, Turtles got so big with Playmates toys, put them on the map. The Archie comic, of course, Mirage Studios was putting stuff out. The cartoon was so big, it changed the game, so to speak. And they were trying to pitch it. Mark Friedman was trying to pitch it as a movie, and nobody would touch it. They're like, well, you got to change the name. You got to do this. You got to do that. All the stuff. comic book movies aren't doing well. Aren't doing well. Superman 4 kind of bombed. Punisher, nobody cared. Nobody wants to touch this. Then Batman 89 comes out.
Yep, Michael Keaton.
Batman rewrites, not only changes the game, rewrites the game as far as marketing. Yeah, Batman cups at Taco Bell. I mean, you name it. Everything. Batman was Batmania. Prince had the first Triple Crown, which was #1 video, #1 single, #1 album. The Batman soundtrack, Bat Dance video, which that was a phenomenal year, man. One of my favorite years. Can't wait to do a podcast about 89, the year of movies. Batman, Lethal Weapon 2, just tons of stuff, right? So then they're like, you know what? Turtles might have some viability. And the one group that took a chance on them was Golden Harvest.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Harvest, who did the Bruce Lee movies.
Yep.
Golden Harvest, which is an executive producer on Enter the Dragon. Raymond Chow mysteriously came up with the money to produce the movie. Jim Henson's Muppet Effects puppeteering came up with the suits. And Ninja Turtles came out in 1990 and was actually considered an independent movie. And I believe to this day, I don't know, Obsession might have knocked it out of its purge this year, but the #1 independent movie of all time was Ninja Turtles. It knocked off Pretty Woman in 1990, which I make my wife so mad. And she's like, it's a love story. I'm like, she's a hooker, right? Yeah. So basically, she's a hooker. Yeah. Well, how's it a love story? He's paying her money. She's a hooker. No, it's a love story. But she's a hooker. I can't stand Julia Roberts. But anyway, didn't like her then, don't like her now. But anyway, Turtles, my boys, Leo, Donnie, Raph, Mikey, knocked out Pretty Woman, #1 movie. I remember going to the theater to see that. And man, I was freaking just even more enamored with Ninja Turtles. They quickly did a sequel with your boy was in it.
Yep,
the pizza delivery boy.
Can I real quick step in on the first Ninja Turtles movie?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make one point because I love that movie. I just bought Arrow just did a 4K release of the trilogy, which I snatched up immediately. I actually had pre-ordered it. And I think I just saw it on sale for $30, down from $100, which is wild. But
wow,
anyway, yeah. The 1990 movie, which I love. Like I said, took Blair to it last year for the 35th anniversary of the theater, all that good stuff. Who wouldn't want to join the Foot Clan? You just get to hang out, play pool, skateboard, eat pizza, and learn martial arts. Like, of course I would be a Foot member if I was a teenager in New York. Like, I hate to say that, but I would be. Like, it's so appealing. And that, again, speaks to that versatility of you got the Foot, they're ninjas. You got the Foot, they're feudal Japanese warriors. You got the Foot in later stuff are cybertronic, ninjas and stuff like that. In the movie, they're wayward teenagers, Now, of course, their leader and their second command are old Japanese dudes, but they're a bunch of, kind of castaway teenagers and stuff. And it still works. That's the versatility. But I just want to make that point. Like, they made the Foot Clan super appealing in that movie. I was like, yeah.
This is true, man. You could smoke, you could drink, you could do whatever you want. I'm going to start telling people, how do you know Sam Widersheen? Oh, we were in the Foot together.
Yeah. Me and him, Foot members together.
Yeah, we knew each other in New York.
Yeah.
And, we joined the Foot.
Yeah. I didn't torture the rat, but all the other stuff seemed really fun.
Really we let him loose. Kind of freaked Dan out, but Sam let him loose.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start telling people that. Like, I know Sam from back in New York.
Yeah.
It was so funny. I was talking mafia stuff one day, and somebody said, "How can you talk mafia stuff? Your last name's Thompson." And I looked at the guy and said, "That's not my real last name." And I just stared at him. He was like, "Oh, okay." 3219. Yeah, here you go, man. Keep the change.
Right.
We're like, why are you messing with that boy? Like, I mean, it's what it is. That was Foot trained.
So your Secret of the Ooze, Ninja Turtles 2,
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go
right?
Ninja, go Ninja, go.
No
David
ice.
Warner's in it. Plays the mad scientist. You got Toka and Razor.
Yep.
For whatever reason, the turtles couldn't have weapons
Yeah.
because it was too violent.
Yeah, that was a
How many people died in The Last Jedi? Good Lord. I mean, too violent.
including my Star Wars fandom. So
Yeah. Whoa, gosh, we were bashing Last Jedi like nobody's business today. Today was a good day, as Ice Cube would say. You youngsters that don't know, Ice Cube would say today was a good day. Good day in sales, good conversations, and we bashed Ryan Johnson, which I would love to fight him like Celebrity Fight Club or some UFC charity event. I wouldn't even train. I would just be like, let's show up tomorrow, buddy, and knock the Last Jedi out of his off his face. But anyway, um, Secret of the Ooze. I never saw Turtles in Time. I never saw the CGI movie they did.
it's
I mean,
good.
I think I've seen it retroactively, so to speak.
Yeah, the CGI was fun.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
Uh,
it really is.
I didn't really watch the live action show. I was kind of out of it then. I just remember when the figures started coming out for the Fox Kids show. I picked up like Leo. I had to get Leo. Leo's my guy, and I got Donnie. And I'm laying on my bed. I'm an adult in my apartment, and I've got Leo or I've got Donnie, and I'm like sitting there talking and moving him around, and I'm like, am I really playing with a Ninja Turtle right now? And I'm like in my 20s. Like, fuck yeah, I am. Yeah, totally. I'm sorry. My son's gonna smack my hand. Heck yeah, I am. I'm playing with a Ninja Turtle, and I got a huge. We're getting ready to expand it. I don't know if you guys can see up there. It's gonna go
Oh yeah.
like 3 or 4 shelves of turtles. I went through this phase where I was selling stuff off, and now I'm buying more stuff. It's crazy. It's what we do because we're Americans. Damn it, we can do stuff like this. Um, but man, I can't go back to it. Turtles is like such a cool concept, and like Laird sold Turtles to Nickelodeon or Viacom Entertainment for $30 million. So you just made $30 million off something you smoked pot and ate pizza, copying Frank Miller's Daredevil. Only in America. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, aha, it's like this is the most crazy thing ever, and it's still relevant.
Well,
Like, there was like a lot of cool stuff in the 80s, like Jason the Will Warriors, Mask, Sectars, all that. Well, Sectars kind of gross because of bugs, Cops, all the stuff. Turtles came out of that, and it's still here today. We're talking about it right now. It's 40 plus years, or almost 40 years.
no, a little over.
Yeah, well, yeah, 40 years for the comic, almost 40 years for the cartoon. I think next year, maybe.
Yeah, next year for the cartoon.
Or 2028.
Just next year, I think it's 87.
You want to feel old or feel weird? I was changing people's credit cards in the system this week. I had 3 people in a row. Their cards expire in 2030.
Yeah.
And I'm like, 2030 is so far away, man. I'm like, oh, it's only like 4 years away. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and Kevin Eastman, who you said he had kind of stepped away from it for a while and sold his shares, I think, to Peter Laird.
Yeah.
He's come back, and he's a big part of that huge IDW run and everything. He's kind of like the overseer consultant on all things Turtles now. So even he's come back to it, which is great.
So going back to the movies, Batman 89, Summer of Batman, Batmania, changes the game. Producers, distributors are like, you know what? Comic book stuff may be viable because Batman just rewrote the game and made so much money, not just in the movie, made Jack Nicholson one of the richest men in Hollywood because he took a back end deal on ticket sales, but merchandising and all that. So in 1989, Turtles worldwide grossed over $250 million in merchandise. And it gave people the confidence that we're going to do a Turtles movie. Came out in 90 and just rewrote the game. And the funny thing was, one of the funny things, I mean, I didn't do this. Hopefully you didn't do this either. By the time Secret of the Ooze came out, they had an epidemic where kids were trying to crawl into sewers
Oh,
because they wanted to see if the turtles were down there. I mean,
that's
that's the
funny.
impact this had.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it gave Vanilla Ice a cool second song. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just it's crazy. But it's one of those things that I don't think it will ever go away. It's just a beautiful thing. Like you can, like Batman. Batman's kind of evergreen. GI Joe, the Transformers, and there's Ninja Turtles. And to me, the four horsemen of the '80s is GI Joe, or sorry, GI Joe, He Man, Transformers, and Ninja Turtles. Star Wars doesn't really count because it's like in its own kind of category. Of
And
course, they
started in
all
the 70s.
yeah, and that's the '70s, finishing up in the '80s. But it's kind of like Lord of the Rings. It's got its own like it's up here. These guys are here. But Turtles is kind of like the fourth horseman, if you will, not horseman of the apocalypse, but like horseman of wrestling, where GI Joe, He Man, Transformers, Turtles were those franchises that reshape people's lives. I know people that joined the military because of GI Joe. I know people that became robots because of Transformers. I'm
Yes.
just kidding. Well, maybe not. I know people that lifted weights because of He-Man. I know people that did martial arts like you
Yep.
because of Turtles.
Yep.
And when I did Kung Fu back in the day, my mom was taking my friend and I to the class because his car was broke down. And my brother goes, "Is your sensei a rat?" And we just all lost it. We're like, "No, he's not a rat, but his we think his master's a rat." So my little brother was like, "Oh, okay, that's cool," you know. But you think about like I'm 10 years and 11 years older than them. I'm into it. They're into it, and just the longevity. Now my son, we were at Target, and he saw the 4-pack where they were redoing the military turtles,
Mm-hmm.
which the Donatello like goes for like $100, the original one, and they're redoing them, and they got the turtles tank. And my son Wyatt's like, I wouldn't mind having that for my birthday. Okay, duly noted. And he loves Michelangelo, so it's like he wants to get like Beach Bum Mikey.
Yeah.
So he'll probably end up with that current Michelangelo style. We were out shopping around. We found the GI Joe Ninja Turtle crossover, and then we also found the Fortnite Turtles. And I got in the Mikey, and of course, I got the Leo. So Sam, who's your favorite turtle and why?
So my favorite turtle is Leonardo. The martial arts, aspect of that. He's the one that was always training, which similar to me, as we talked about on my first appearance at Dan Cast. I missed a lot in college as far as parties and dating and all this different stuff because of martial arts. And, even people now are like, you might train a little too much. It's like, well, but that's what I love to do, and all that stuff. So Leo always spoke to me. But honestly, my favorite characters in the Turtles is Shredder. I'm a Shredder guy through and through. I am tracking that new Mondo Shredder they just revealed recently. I've got to get, and I'm not even really collecting anymore. Although I got the Mezco Turtles, the Mezco
Have you seen
Casey.
this one?
Yeah, he's cool.
My friend, my friend Jeremy.
Yeah.
He's always in on Saturdays. People thinks he works in my store. He's my hardest working customer.
Yeah.
He turned me on to the 4-inch turtles.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn it, man. Why are you making me spend money? He's like, because you make me spend money every week, Dan. Right. I'm like, fair enough.
Yeah. So I've pre-ordered the Mezco Shredder and Splinter. But outside of that, I really haven't bought anything in quite a long time. But that Mondo Shredder is going to have to be had. So Shredder is my guy, but Leo is my favorite turtle for sure. But before we jump into anything else, I do want to say, as we're going kind of timeline of the movies, all this stuff, and of course, we had the Seth Rogen movie a couple years ago, which I just absolutely loved, which led into 2 successful seasons of Tales of the Ninja Turtles, the show on Paramount. And now the sequel is coming out, I think, next year for the movie. And we got the Last Ronin video game coming out. But what I had to hit more than anything is that 4-person Ninja Turtles arcade game got them a lot of fans. We spent a lot of money, and I don't mean we like the royal me. I mean like we and every person I know spent a lot of money playing that 4-person Ninja Turtles arcade game. That to me is when you start talking about arcades, it's in that first tier of things you name. You know, oh yeah, I played Mortal Kombat, I played NBA Jam and Street Fighter. Man, what about that 4-person Ninja Turtles? You know, it was right there. Everyone was playing that game. So I felt like we went through the episode. I didn't mention that video game.
That video game is so freaking cool.
It was so great.
And you want to hear something bittersweet? When I turned 16 is when the Nintendo Ninja Turtles game came out. And my birthday is when my report card came out. And I got an F in Spanish that trimester or whatever. Semester. Trimester is when you're pregnant. Sorry. That semester. And my parents were like, did your report card come in? I was like, yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. Like, I think we're getting it maybe Friday. I don't know. Bring me your folder. I'm like, fuck. I bring them my folder. I got an F in Spanish. Because I went from an A to an F because we changed teachers. And I got that game for my birthday. And I got grounded on my birthday.
Ugh.
And I'm just like, Turtles! No! No! And so my grade went from like a 65 to a 95. And when you know it, that teacher did not recognize me for going up 30 points.
Yeah.
No offense. But
my good buddy,
her daughter's
Matt,
very cute. But
my good buddy Matt, who's one of my best friends in the world, he owns, he plays video games, so he's got, PS5 or whatever. But he has one arcade game in his man cave, and it's that Ninja Turtles game.
Dude, that game is amazing.
It's so good.
Like it's like it doesn't matter if you're white, black, yellow, or green. You throw some quarters in, you're playing. You're on the team.
Yeah.
Well, I just did a roadblock from G.I. Joe where I rhymed. I mean, maybe I'm one of your 5 favorite MCs. I don't know. Sam, who's your 5 favorite MCs?
Oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah, always.
All right. The Jizza, Ghostface Killer, Big L, probably Guru from Gangstar. Who's going to round out my top 5? Let's go Chino XL, rest in peace.
Okay, I'm going to go KRS-One.
Rest in peace to Big L.
And oh yeah, man, that's a sad day. And no particular order after KRS.
Oh,
Big
sorry.
Daddy
No.
Kane.
Throw out Chino, J. Rue the Damager. Sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. KRS-One, the Blastmaster, the Teacher. Big Daddy Kane, LL Cool J, just because. I'd have to say the God Rakim, God MC Rakim.
Yeah, he just put out a new album.
Yeah. Then I had to say probably Third Base.
Yeah. Okay.
Got to go with Third Base. But they're coming up with a new album. They're re-releasing the Cactus because they got the rights to their music back.
That's good.
And these are all New York MCs, by the way, which the Turtles are from New York. Yep. How New York can you get? New York are the home of Marvel Comics. You got Avengers Mansion over here, Daredevil holding it down in Hell's Kitchen, Luke Cage and Iron Fist holding it down over here, the Turtles holding it down on the street. And occasionally the X-Men show up and fight somebody in an alley.
And the 2026 NBA World Champion New York Knicks in Manhattan in Madison Square Garden.
Which 30 years ago, Jordan started his second three-peat.
That's true.
No, I'm happy. It was so funny. We talked and playoffs were going on, and I was going to call you or reach out to you like, damn, dude, your Knicks won. That's awesome. I was rooting for them.
Yeah.
I'm really happy for him. I wish Patrick Ewing could have got one because I always really respected him.
Yeah, the nice thing about it is he's a member of the staff, so he at least got a ring, which is cool. But yeah, I wish he could have got one. If Starks didn't go 3 for 18 in Game 7 versus the Rockets, we might have got that one.
That was rough, man. Do you think he threw that on purpose or?
No, just a bad night. And what's so funny is Game 5. That's the same night of the OJ chase. So I'm sitting there watching. No joke, split screen TV.
I literally mentioned the OJ chase today because some people were talking about Episode 8 of Star Wars. I was like, yeah, I like the OJ Simpson chase better than the Admiral Holdo, Admiral Longneck chase. I was like, yeah, I saw this before. It's called OJ Simpson.
Yeah,
Him and AC did it a lot better, you
yeah,
know.
but yeah, true story. Game. I'm sitting there watching Game 5, and we're watching this white Bronco going down the freeway, and I was like, why are we watching? What is this? And all of a sudden they're like, it's OJ Simpson. He's thought to have killed his wife. I was like, oh my Lord, what? But yeah, I was sitting there watching that, and I think I was 11 years old.
I mean, it's like you're waiting for Riggs and Murtaugh to go after him.
It was crazy.
That would have made it even better if you had Mel Gibson and Danny Glover chasing OJ Simpson and AC Cowlings.
Maybe not Mel Gibson. He doesn't like me so much. So
whatever.
We'll just
He
go.
likes you.
No, not really. We'll go.
We'll talk about one of my favorite things with Sam, which I always giggle every time I think about this. I said, man, I saw a picture. I can't even say it. I saw a picture of Hulk Hogan, nasty boy, the blonde nasty boy, and Mel Gibson playing poker together. And you go, I call that a Klan rally.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yep. That's about what it's kind of like Django. Like, okay, hood's on or off for this,
Oh man, I freaking lost it when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah. Mel Gibson doesn't like it. So we'll just go with 2 Danny Glovers.
Mel Danny likes Glovers, you, man. He didn't like the Rothschilds. He likes you though.
Yeah, not really. Not so much.
I'll talk to him.
When you said, yeah, my own wife is going to go to hell. I was like, "Hoo-wee, Mel, you are."
He was drunk though, man. He's kind of notorious drunk.
Yeah, you kind of say the things you really mean. I think.
Maybe. I mean, that is true, but
Yeah.
I'm still going to go see Lethal Weapon 5 when it comes out.
Yeah, me too. It'll be great when they fight each other with walkers.
Well, he did say at a convention last week that him and Danny were at that one of them is officially retired and the other one's stuck to a desk and can't stand it. So I imagine Danny Glover's retired, Murtaugh's retired, and Riggs is probably stuck at a desk.
Yeah, he probably was disciplined for beating up too many minorities or something, so he's not allowed on the street anymore.
Dude, I love those movies. Those movies are great. When they fight the South Africans, that's my favorite. When I was watching that one yesterday, when Joe Pesci goes into the South African embassy, he's like, "Yeah, my friend wants to go to South Africa," and the guy's like, "Oh, that is so great. He wants to go to South Africa," and he's like, "Yeah, but I want you to talk him out of it." And Danny Glover comes in. He goes, "Your friend is black." He goes, "You're black," and just Danny Glover's like, "Free South Africa, you son of a bitch!" And starts going off.
I liked number 4 with Jet Li.
I love that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a fun touch.
I love that one. Like, he looks really mad, Riggs. Yep. Yeah, he does. He does. We're not
when he beat up Mel Gibson, it just spoke to me. It was weird. I was like, this scene really hits home. Strange. Just saying.
Oh man, back to Ninja Turtle.
All right.
We totally derailed like the train in East Palestine, Ohio. Oh my goodness. But they did a movie about that 6 months before it happened. It has your favorite Adam Driver in it.
Oh, that guy's not very good.
Dude, Sam would come in the store. He's like, Kylo Ren took off his mask and looked like a renegade Vidal Sassoon model.
Yeah. He pulled the mask off. He was like, oh,
Dude, so if you had told me in 2015 I would not go to the theater and see the new Star Wars movie, the last one, I would have said you're crazy, which I never saw it. And
no one did.
AEW wrestling was on TNT, and they switched over to TBS. And one night I was sick. I was homesick, and I was going to watch wrestling, and I forgot they had switched from TNT to TBS. And I turned it on TNT, and I dropped. I'm so weak. I won that week, but I dropped the remote, and it went under the couch. And freaking Last Jedi is on. And I'm like, what is this garbage? And he's like, You're a Palpatine. No, no. And she runs and jumps out the airlock. Like the airlock's open.
Yeah.
Everyone's flying into space, suffocating, dying,
Just
freezing.
flying.
She
Yeah.
runs like a sprinter, like she's Carl Lewis, jumps out. The Falcon comes down with Finn or Poe or somebody yelling in space, which you can't talk in space because there's no sound. If you watch Aliens, you know that. And he's like, Ray, Ray, runs and jumps and catches him. Like, they all would have died. And then Kylo Ren walks up and everybody's getting sucked out. And he's like, she's a Palpatine. I was like, what is this crap?
Yeah, his
I
mask
think
was
it
like a
made me more
dust buster.
sick. And then finally, I think my cat knocked the remote out for me so I could grab it. He was giving me sympathy. And I was like, oh, thank God, wrestling. Oh my gosh. It's like, what is this crap I was watching?
Yeah, his mask
And,
was like a dust buster. I used to use the Kylo Ren mask to clean my stairs.
like that had so much potential. And we're going way off topic here, but that's okay. It's what we do every day at the shop. And, it's like, you're like, who is this guy? The rumors was somebody, he was like, the rumor was he's somebody called the Gravedigger and he collects artifacts. He's obsessed with Vader. Rey is obviously Luke's son or daughter, rather. Finn's going to be a Jedi. And none of that happened. None of that happened.
No,
I had a friend of mine
but
who
Luke
got it.
did get to chill on a beach and watch the galaxy go to shit. So that was cool.
Which one?
I said Luke did get to chill out on a beach and watch the galaxy go to shit while he just hung
What was
out.
so weird, man, because like they made Han a deadbeat dad who forgot where he parked his car. Leia was like a conspiracy theorist that got kicked out of the Senate. And like I hated what they did with her because she wasn't Princess Leia. She was like all the Carrie Fisher memes brought to life, like pew pew. It's like, what am I watching, man? Like I can watch this on Facebook. And
When
then uh and
when
then
are
Luke was
people
like Uncle Touchy on Epstein Island. Jeffrey sent me to this tent, and there was Kylo young and firm, and my lightsaber was around. I'm like, what are we watching? Like, what the
when are
hell?
people in the Star Wars universe going to realize they should never go on a bridge? That's where every death in Star Wars occurs, is a bridge. As soon as Han went on the bridge, I was like, "Oh, you did? Yeah, you
Yeah.
gone, man. You can't. No bridges in Star Wars, man. That's so." Anyways, let's get back to the turtles.
So we were talking about rap for a second. What does Eazy-E and Rob Liefeld have in common?
Ooh, I don't know. That's a great. I do not know.
Comic books. There's a funny picture of Rob Liefeld at Golden Apple in L.A. with Eazy-E in a picture with him, and Rob's all like, and Easy's like, and they were going to collaborate and do a comic book series together. Easy had a whole bunch of ideas for comics for Eric Wright, as his government name was, and of course Easy, died, and it never came to fruition. But Eazy-E was a huge, huge comic book fan,
That's cool.
which makes me want to like jam to Eazy-E just a little bit more than I do normally.
Yeah, he's good. Wu-Tang Clan, they're all big comic book guys.
Did you see? I could see the Wu-Tang Clan teaming up with the Turtles.
Yeah.
New York City.
They've had
Kung
a couple
Fu.
of comic books too. The Nine Rings of the Wu-Tang, but Ghostface is Tony Stark's Iron Man, Method Man, Johnny Blaze. So you've got a strong comic book tie with the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, man. Turtles, going back to Turtles, successful TV shows, successful movies. They had a concert that went on for a couple of years.
Yep.
Toy lines keep coming and going. We got Mattel. Mattel going to launch Turtles again in 27. Probably some new iteration of Turtles will come out, comic and toy wise, or cartoon wise. I mean, and then the IDW series kind of still continues, even though Jason Aaron writes it, which I'm not a big fan of Jason Aaron.
I think he's gone now, right?
I don't know. I pick him up, but I haven't read any of that series yet.
Yeah,
I'm still back in Mutant Town.
Yeah, I think they've got someone new now. I think.
Thank Jesus, because I'm not a big Jason Aaron fan.
Hey, that
I
that
don't
Thor
I don't
run
care
is
how bald you are or how much facial hair you have. It doesn't make you a good comic book writer.
yeah, but that
Everybody's
God
like, "Oh,
Bomb and
his
God Butcher was
Thor, his Wolverine, his Hulk." I'm like, I couldn't read him.
the Thor was good, man. God Bomb and God Butcher was good.
I'll kind of give you that, but I didn't like he made Thor a dullard.
Yeah,
Thor's like a strategist. Thor's a warrior. Thor's noble. He's not, but he made him a drunk dullard. Made him somebody that like, I got done in my 60-hour shift at Ford. I'm gonna spend all my money with alcohol. That's the way he wrote Thor. And I was just like, yeah, Thor's not a dummy, man.
yeah,
Like, oh, you have a library here? I'm just the God Butcher was cool. The character
yeah,
was cool.
yeah. Gore, yeah, Gore was cool.
Yeah, that was a neat character. Too bad they kind of ruined that. And I don't even want to say the movie's name. It's so
It's so
stupid.
bad. It's so bad.
That's one I didn't even see.
It's
I saw
so
the
bad.
trailer, and I'm like, I think my wife looked at me like, if you want to see that, I'm going to divorce you.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like, yeah, don't worry about it.
well, it's funny. Me and again my buddy Matt, the one with the arcade, we went to the movie to go see the new Spider-Man movie, which I think was fantastic. And one of the trailers we got was for the new oh, why is his name escaping me? I was a Taika Waititi movie. So showing it, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And at the end, he says, director of Jojo Rabbit and of Thor Ragnarok. And that's it. It does not say Thor Love and Thunder at all. And me and Matt both made a joke about it. I was like, yeah, I wouldn't have mentioned that either.
I mean, like, what were they thinking?
It was terrible.
And I see these comments from Robert Downey Jr., who I love and respect. And I didn't realize he was on Saturday Night Live. Did you know that?
No. Mm-mm.
So I've been on this big Wayne's family kick. I've been watching all these like Sean Wayne's, Marlon Wayne's and Damon Wayne's interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And I forgot Damon was on Saturday Night Live and he got fired. He was saying like, I didn't even get to say goodbye to the people. I got fired like halfway through the show.
Wow.
And what was the point of this? I'm sorry, I just blanked out. Too many shots to the head. I've been on this big Wayne's family kick, and they were talking about movies and shows, and like, I don't know, it's very inspirational. And like, here, Marlon Wayne's doing inspirational stuff. It's kind of weird. It's very religious, and he was talking about how, and this is just kind of cool with creativity and stuff, right? Which they need to put the Waynes in a Turtles movie or something, or have them do it. So like Keenan got to do the stand up and got to work with Robert Townsend, and he went from New York to L.A. And like all the brothers went over to spend a weekend with him or whatever. Flew him out to L.A. And Marlon was like, we thought my brother was rich, and we found out he had an apartment with like three other guys.
Yeah.
And he goes like Marlon's like, Keenan's getting ready to go out to the club because he was the guy that went out to the club. And he was like, I want you all to watch Airplane and Animal House and tell me what you think was funny about it and why it worked. I'll be out of the club. I've seen a little bit. And Marlon's like, we watch the movies, kind of taking notes because Big Brother's going to quiz us on this, right? Keenan comes back, hot ass girl with him. Did y'all watch them movies? Yeah, man. We watched Airplane and Animal House. So, you know what was funny and what worked? Yeah. Tell me about it tomorrow morning because I got business to take care of. It's like, he's like, my big brother disappeared with this woman. And in the morning, he took us out for pancakes. And we talked movies. But like, it was the creativity. Like, what worked? Keenan's brain worked like, what worked with this movie? How could we have made it funnier? How could we have made this gag funnier or not so silly? And then he said, Sean and Marlon did Don't Be a Menace in South Central. And this is like a really long title, but
Yeah.
it's a
While
spoof
drinking
of,
your juice in the hood.
yeah, it's a spoof of Menace to Society and Boys in the Hood. And he said him and Marlon did the movie. Sean wrote it. Or sorry, Marlon wrote it with a buddy. Test screenings, it did terrible. Keenan came in, told the studio, Give me $1 million in a movie and I'll fix, or a month, and I'll fix it. And they're like, okay. Gave Keenan Ivory Wayans $1 million. Keenan went to Marlon and said, I want you to rewrite the movie. You got 1 week. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, I'm going to refilm it for $1 million. They spent $30 million on this film. How you, or $12 million, whatever it was. How are you going to do that? He goes, just rewrite the damn movie. So Marlon's like, I got high with my writing partner. We wrote the movie in a week, gave it to my brother. We filmed it. It was a hit. And there's gags that when they got high, they put into the movie. And so it's kind of like just creativity and sticking to your guns. And just, I've been on this kick of watching Damon and Marlon talk about their family, dealing with the Weinsteins, how the Weinsteins screwed him over with Scary Movie. And he's like, we didn't have to get revenge on them. God took care of it. Harvey's in jail and Bob doesn't have a company and they're disgraced forever. And it was just kind of cool to hear him say that and how they were, they just let God handle it. And they did their business over here. And he goes, the Wayne's family's still around. They're not. I was like, I respect that, man. They're, Marlon Wayans to me was the best part of G.I. Joe Retaliation. He was like, I was not looking forward to him in that movie. Well, sorry. Snake Eyes was the best part. Marlon was Ripcord was next.
The best
So I
part was
got it.
actually the RZA as the blind samurai instructor in the beginning.
Dude, that was crazy. That was Retaliation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. If you watch the director's cut, it makes more sense. So real quick, I'm gonna tell you a funny story from high school, and then we'll get off here because we're running on about 2 hours.
Yeah.
People have been married and divorced in this time that we've been talking. So when I was in high school, I went to a Catholic high school my freshman year, and I switched over to male high school my sophomore year. And I knew all these super cool people, but they weren't anywhere I was in my classes or my periods. So my first day of school, I ate lunch by myself, felt like a total nerd. Even the teachers and cafeteria monitors were like, who's this freaking nerd eating by himself? One of the worst days of my life. So the next day of school, I'm in World Civ. I got this black guy sitting in front of me named Donnell Clark. Shout out to you, Donnell. You probably still hate me from what the story I'm telling. But you shouldn't have messed with me. I'm like, hey, man, do you mind if I sit with you? Because I don't know anybody in this period and I'm new. Yeah, man. So I sit with Donnell, and it's like how it should be. There's white kid me, Donnell, 2 other black guys, Cliff and Dino, fat white guy named Marvin, and a bunch of skateboard kids that were like a couple grades younger than us. That was our table. Everybody got along. Dr. King's dream in effect. Content of my character, comedy, whatever. Everybody's cool. I'm getting, to use a wrestling term, I'm kind of getting over with the table. It's about halfway through the school year. Big Ninja Turtle fan. Most of my, I probably don't want my mom and dad to hear this because they probably want their money back from school. But I'm sitting there drawing out Ninja Turtles and writing storylines during biology and English and all that. That's why I can't speak English good. And one day Donnell starts to bury me. He goes, hey, man, you know, this little white boy came to me and said, I ain't got no friends. Can I sit with you? Sit at your table? Ha ha. Everybody's laughing at me. And I'm like, ooh, man, that hurts. This is like my best friend. Got come out swinging. And I said, you know, Donnell's not wrong. I did come up to him and say, can I sit with you? And I said, but it was because of his big ass forehead and big ass cheekbones. I thought he was Donatello from Ninja Turtles. And I thought, man, if I'm hanging out with Donatello, I meet Splinter. I can become a ninja. I can get Michelangelo and Raphael's autograph from my sister and brother. And I'm in. Whole table erupts in laughter. Donnell turns red because he's embarrassed. This big ass football player, this senior walks by carrying his tray. Yo, man, what y'all laughing about? Hey, man, don't little buddy look like Ninja Turtle? He goes, and I won't say the language he used because we can't say this language, but I'll replace it with dog. He goes, damn, dog, you look like a Ninja Turtle. Hey, y'all. The entire football team, seniors and juniors, come over to our table, surrounding us. And I'm just like, oh, damn. Don't little buddy look like a Ninja Turtle? Damn, dog, you look like, yeah. For 3 months, they'd walk by our table and just ridicule this poor kid.
Oh
And I'm
man.
like, damn, man, I meant to shoot like a ballistic missile, not a nuke. I mean, I nuked him. And needless to say, junior, senior year, we weren't hanging out. Uh, but that was his fault. But yeah, I told everybody he was Donatello. So he was known as Ninja Turtle throughout middle high school for the rest of our years.
Man,
And
that's brutal.
yeah, man, I'm like, but it hurt my feelings what he said. I mean, it could have buried me and kind of ended me. And I was like, swing hard. You might end up in a fight, but just go for the, do what you got to do. And I said what I said, and man, it like landed. So thank you, Ninja Turtles. You saved my honor. I lost a friend, but saved my honor.
There you go.
Yeah, right. I was Shredder that day. I was Shredder.
Right.
Uh, so Ninja Turtles continues as a comic book. We have Ninja Turtles. We have Ninja Turtles Shredder. There's the Casey Jones series. I think it just ended, or it might still be going on. There's also another Ninja Turtle series. It's like a reprint of the old Mirage stuff. There's toys still coming out. Mattel's getting ready to launch their line in 2027, and I have high hopes for that. And of course, there's going to be a cartoon, probably another movie. It's a property that just won't die, and thank God for that, because it's a freaking cool property. Like we've talked about all night, family, brothers, feudal Japan, history, future, space, New York, you name it. That's the Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
Sam, I'll give you the last word, and then we'll cut out.
Oh man. All right. Last word. Go Turtles, go Turtles, go.
It's more like go ninja, go. But
Yeah, I wanted to switch it up a little bit.
man, now I kind of want to listen to that stupid song. I know I regret it if I listen to it, but what can I say?
Well, that's why I
Man,
wanted to switch it up because I didn't want it to get stuck in anyone's head.
I've had the damn cartoon song stuck in my head all day. It's like in Batman Begins, it's like, Chill said your dad begged like a dog, like a dog. It's my favorite line in that movie. I'm like, I've
Oh
had it
yeah.
stuck in my head all day, all day. Like I was like running up to my son this afternoon or this evening, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, uh, that
Heroes on
this
the
man,
half shell, turtle
what a
power.
what a great freaking show, great cartoon, great comic, great toy line, and I mean, God bless Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. On accident, they created a cultural phenomenon. How amazing is that?
Yeah, very cool.
It's like Jack Kirby and Joe Simon when they were trying to get America in the war to fight the Nazis and they drew Captain America punching Hitler. Did they ever think that this character would be around for 85, almost 90 years?
Yeah.
Schuster and Siegel, and they made Superman as a response to the Nazis' master race. They made this character look like them, and he was truly the Superman. He's still around. Bill Finger and Bob Kane making Batman, still around. Frank Miller's Daredevil, we still talk about it. I mean, this stuff has great value, great meaning, and it's up to us to pass it on to the next generation. My son may or may not know, but he's getting some Ninja Turtle stuff for his birthday. Wyatt turns 10 is his golden birthday, as he says. Probably going to get that 4-pack of them as the military turtles in Beach Bum Mikey because he likes Mikey.
That's awesome.
He's like, why do you like Leo? I'm like, because he wears blue and he has swords. Why would I not like him? So if you had real quick, and I know we were going to end it, but we're still talking. That's why we make the big bucks, right, Sam?
Right.
Uh, your check's coming next week. Trust me.
Okay. Perfect.
So I have this thing like you like one turtle, you like two turtles, or you like four. You don't like three, you like four. And so there was a guy, Andrew Ramser, love you Ramser, if you're watching this. I did this thing to him, and you couldn't have picked perfect timing. It's when the first Michael Bay movie came out with turtles. We had the movie figures at the shop, had them on this end cap by the comic book bin, and he was going to get a turtle. I said, how can you get one? You either get two or four. You don't get three. I said, what if a young lady comes to your house? You have one turtle, like, oh yeah, that's cool. That's your favorite turtle. Or that's your favorite two. but then you have 3, it tells me you can't commit. And he's like, well, that's crazy. So if on cue, I have a lady customer come in, Katie, what do you think about this? 1, 2, or 4? Do you do 3? No. If I go to a guy's house, he's got 3 Ninja Turtles, tells me he can't commit. My sister calls me, Sarah, hey, real quick, what would you do if you were dating a guy and he had 3 Ninja Turtles but not 4? I'd say he can't follow through with things. And then I had this vendor call that was a female. Hey, I know this is off topic, a sideshow, but I'm talking to this. I'm trying to mentor these young men. If you had a guy that you were dating and he had 1 Ninja Turtle, is that cool? Yeah. 2? Yeah. 4? Yeah. What about 3? 3 tells me he can't commit. He bought all the damn turtles and the villains that night. And he still gives me shit about that.
That's so funny.
So you got to commit, guys. You got to commit. You got a lady coming to your house, either have 1, 2, or 4. Don't do
That's
3.
right. That's
Because
right.
she's going to say, what's up with this? You can't commit. Can't go all the way. 1 date and we're out. Done. So Sam, it was absolutely wonderful having you on tonight. We love you. You're a great guy. We strongly love Sam. Sam's a great guy. It was really great to have you on. I love talking turtles with you. We kind of bonded as friends over turtles. Turtles is such a cool thing. It's generational. Has generational customers. We were kids watching it, playing with it, collecting it. Now we're adults. You're 30. You're in your 30s. I'm, obviously in my 20s, collecting it. Rely on you old guys telling me about the old days. I'm just going off your all's notes. But man, what a great night. Thanks for coming on. So happy to talk turtles with you. Would love to have you on again. Maybe I'll have you on the Star Wars show. I'm probably going to do G.I. Joe next weekend, and then we're going to do Star Wars the next weekend. I do have a lady friend that likes the newer Star Wars, and I got some guys that are old school with the old Star Wars, so make kind of an interesting contrast there. So I'll reach out to you and let you know about that. But thanks for coming on. Where can people find you at, Sam?
You can find me all around town. Really? No, not really. I have a Kung Fu and Tai Chi school on Lung Guang, which means House of the Peaceful Dragon. We're located kind of right by Bowman Field, basically. So yeah, if you want to learn any traditional Kung Fu, Tai Chi, check us out. We got a website, we got Facebook, all that good stuff. I'm pretty responsive, so if you reach out to me by email or text message or anything like that, I'll get either be right there or I'll get back to you really quick. So yeah.
Something funny you said, Tai Chi, reminds me of a Billy Bob Thornton quote from Landman. I don't know if you've watched that show.
I have not.
It's really good.
Yeah, I heard
he's a guy that takes care of oil leases and the land leases and all that. Has all this crazy stuff going on. Him, the lawyer, and this chief engineer live in this house. It's owned by the company. And then his name's Tommy in the show. His ex-wife, who kind of his current wife now, his daughter are living there. It's all this chaos. Tommy comes down, he smokes a cigarette, and the lawyer says, those are going to kill you. He goes, well, that shit you're eating right there is going to kill you. He goes, in Japan, they smoke like chimneys there. You know why? And because they do Tai Chi. And he goes, cancer is not even the top 10 of what kills them. He goes, it's that shit, that all that sugar you're eating is going to kill you. Me, I'm going to smoke a cigarette and do Tai Chi. So it just kind of reminded me of that.
That's funny. Well, we don't.
It's a great show. You'd enjoy it. It's a funny show.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's on second season. Third season's coming out, I guess, in November.
Cool.
Great cast, great show. Well, Sam, thanks again for coming on tonight. And the immortal words of Michelangelo Cowabunga, please like this show, subscribe, tell your friends about it, share it. Next week, I think it's going to be G.I. Joe. The week after that, it's going to be Star Wars. And then we'll probably get back into some interviews or talking about movies. Sam, if you ever want to come on and talk about movies, love to have you on. You're a great conversationalist, as they would say up north. You're a great conversationalist. Or in the South, they'd say you're a great person to have tea with. I don't know. I don't know if they say that or not. I'm just making it up.
I
But
like it.
anyway, thanks for coming on, brother. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody have a great weekend. Love each other. Be good to each other. Because at the end of the day, we're all we got. Thanks for watching.
See you, everybody.